Police use informants in all kinds of ways, but the most common is probably the buy bust. That's when the cops will give an informant, snitch, marked money, and they will send him into a drug house to buy the drugs and come back and give the drugs to them. They then take pictures of it, send it down to the judge's office, and then they write up a warrant, and then they go raid your house. And the laws vary from place to place, obviously, right? In Portland, when I got our stash house raided, our lawyer told us afterward that the cops had to get 2 controlled buys in order to get a warrant. It all kind of depends. I mean, the FBI, the feds can do almost anything they want. I've heard of dealers who got their houses raided with warrants by an informant simply telling the cops that, yeah, I bought heroin from that house. That was it. And that's the flaw in the war on drugs. That's why you see all these people getting their houses raided by SWAT team members and shot to death, and then turns out they had the wrong house. So that's the buy bust. That's why you never, as Biggie Smalls said, sell crack where you rest at. You never, ever, ever, doesn't matter what level of the game you're at, sell drugs from the place that you live. And I'm guilty of doing that many times over in my drug career. But if you listen and hear one lesson that I give from these videos, it's that you never keep the work where you sleep. There's also the reverse busts, and those are a little less common nowadays. They usually happen at the higher levels. But that's when a undercover cop or an FBI agent will actually pose as the drug seller and wear a wire while he's selling drugs to an unwitting dealer, and they will take the guy down that way. I was never that worried about a reverse bust, though, because in general, the cops don't like to give away the drugs they've seized, even if it's only temporary. So it was mainly the buy bust and getting set up on a wiretap that I was worried about and that I used any and all means to prevent. But the craziest and the scariest way that cops use informants is by allowing people to actively deal drugs while snitching. So they might catch a guy with a couple ounces of meth on the streets of Portland, Oregon, and they'll say, okay, motherfucker, you belong to us now. We're going to let you keep dealing, keep selling your dope as usual, but we want 4 different dealers every month in handcuffs. Because cops don't give a shit about getting drugs off the street. In fact, they want more drugs on the street. That's what keeps them employed. And especially these local police departments work off yearly budgets. So the more numbers they bring in and the more drugs they seize means they're going to get more money the next year. And they're also under pressure by the sheriff or the chief of police to produce numbers so they can get reelected at the end of the year. It's also politics. Everything is politics. Now, I don't know for a fact, but I grew up with a kid, and I won't say his name here, but everybody in my neighborhood watching this video knows who this piece of shit is. He was a bully. He was a scumbag. He was also a big-time drug dealer. But he never, ever went down. He was reckless, too. He would drink and drive. He would shoot people. He would always carry guns on him. He was a gangster, but he didn't have any backup. He didn't have a crew. And we were like, how is this guy not getting locked up after so many years? He would even get pulled over with work. He would get pulled over. He would get pinched. The guy never seemed to go to jail. And it's been speculated by numerous people that this guy is actually working for the cops. In fact, when the cops raided my place, I was dumbfounded because nobody should have known where I lived. The only person who knew was this particular kid. But I wasn't in the drug game with him. I wasn't selling him drugs directly. So I figure there's no way this guy's ratting on me because we're not even, working together. He was just a casual acquaintance who would come through every now and then and smoke weed, and we would catch up because he was like an old friend from the neighborhood, So it's possible that I was just one guy within his monthly quota, but we'll get to that later. Hey guys, if you like that video, make sure to check out the full episode right here and subscribe to the channel right here.